Masters. I'm gonna give you the full story of what occurred with Eli. So I'm gonna rewind to about a year ago when he tried to join the Maergjirahn groups. He lasted all for about a week before I noticed mental illness and fucking delusions of grandeur. Whenever I see this, I promptly fucking remove whoever it is because I don't teach or like having people like that in the groups. So he initially left peacefully but kept his work on the outside. Then I hear about him a year ago as well, trying to rush into Deicide rituals and instant atrophy lichdom because he thought doing so would allow him to kill people instantly, such as the woman who was allegedly abusing him. So back then, VK and Tomb of the Scarab talked to him on my behalf to get the kid to understand the dangers, that there is no instant fucking God pill that's going to get him out of the trouble he's got himself into with his court date or otherwise, or with his past abuses. It came out of fucking desperation right when he first started his YouTube channel, right when he first started practicing. And it's like I said in a previous post on the Facebook groups, it doesn't surprise me that a privileged little 19-year-old white kid can come out, brainwash a bunch of fucking kids, claim he devoured several gods, and all who served those gods were now his fucking slaves. Now, since most entitled motherfuckers don't understand, I'm going to use comparative reasoning. If I came out and said some stupid shit like I devoured the Loa and everyone who served them were my slave, I would expect motherfuckers to crucify me. But since it's a fucking little white boy with a sob story of alleged abuse, people fucking believed it. People fucking entertained it. Now, people who believe this shit were only other privileged, childish little fucking kids like him. This kid is the perfect fucking example why you shouldn't jump into something, let alone teach something you barely knew about. I waited many years before I felt like I had earned the right to teach, through ego temperament and fucking control. That's the problem with Western sorcerers, especially entitled ones. They don't master anything. He started his channel about a fucking year or two ago. They hear about something and immediately go to making a fucking YouTube and try to teach it, or regurgitating work that isn't their own and spin it. Experience actually matters. But this shit doesn't make any sense. Someone who claims to have devoured a god yet serves the angels. A being who had reached a godly state would know not to tell anyone who it took, what they became. You sure as fuck wouldn't be able to summarize Deicide rites from a few rituals from our books in a 30-minute ritual video, in a 30-minute video on YouTube. He also stated the gods wouldn't care if you ate their energy, which is bullshit. All throughout human history, gods and goddesses made an example out of man. Just like fucking Zeus. Zeus was quite fond of cucking men to humble them or fuck with them. This is why you shouldn't jump the gun. Learn the basics from the imperators and then seek me out for the anathema rites and more advanced rituals. You see, a god wouldn't be living the life he's living. A god wouldn't be on the verge of homelessness. A god wouldn't need to use basic fucking divination with a pendulum to try and prove something to a bunch of fucking kids. A god wouldn't need social validation from a bunch of fucking kids. But this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. He ended up going back and he issued an apology that was without substance or accountability for even starting the drama with everyone, for starting it with us. He apologized to Kane in secret, but that apology was for him to save face and do damage control for the benefit of clout chasing and social validation for a bunch of fucking kids. Then after that, 3 days of that shit, talking shit and fucking slander, he's all of a sudden done with quote unquote war. Talking shit is not war. See, that's the kind of bullshit in the mindset of an adolescent child. Those of you who supported him, he did not come to some grand epiphany and apologize within 3 days after threatening people and slandering people. I've seen enough people prep to use what he's saying. I've seen people binding his fucking court date for failure. I was one of the ones who not only promoted his for his cause, but donated to him just for him to lose his fucking mind. So Eli, you need to get off of the internet and YouTube until your fucking court date passes. Because if they give you the maximum sentence, which is fucking rare, but if they do and they send you to fucking prison, they aren't gonna fucking think you're a fucking god there. That is not a fucking place for an entitled kid. And the shit you're doing, all that shit is doing is fucking you over. But that's all I gotta say about that shit. If you applied to Maergjirah, don't think we started some bullshit. Because I don't run around starting random bullshit with random white breads. I'm answering this because I kept getting a few messages asking my opinion on it. And to see how I would answer it. But it's like I said, it's like you gotta see it like how I see it. If I answered every privileged little white boy who thought they were fucking special, who had that fucking attitude, I want to be the one to take that uppity nigger down. If I responded to every white boy I made insecure just by fucking minding my own business and existing, I'd never get fucking anything done. This kid simply hasn't fucking grown up yet, who wanted validation and clout chasing and then apologized for it afterwards. Nothing more, nothing less.